What?
How did this happen? What are we
It's
doing
us
here?
again? We've been awoken from our slumber? Who dareth wake us? Oh, it's a field trip episode. Ha 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 ha.
I wasn't hanging upside down in a cave when you came and woke me.
Surprise.
We've been doing more field trips.
We've been doing more field trip, and we have one right now. This time we spoke with Helen Larimore, who is the marketing manager for Tussaud Hollywood. We went down there and talked to her. She invited us to, right now what they have going on is a 90s exhibit, and she invited us to the opening gala of it, and it was really fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Tom Green was there.
Tom Green was there.
And several cast members from all that. I held Lori Beth Denberg's phone. She asked me to take a picture of her.
Pretty cool. What a very 90s experience that is.
Hold my phone. Just like everyone was saying in the 90s, hold my phone and take a selfie of me.
It meant something different back then. When our Polaroids
hold
were...
the phone.
Hold the phone.
That's what she meant.
It was a great exhibit. I was always nervous to be around wax figures, and when I got there, I mean, even worse than I didn't know I was rounding down because they were so scary.
Well, okay, yeah, we talk about this a little bit in the episode. Let's talk about right now how good the wax figures are in there. It's upsettingly good.
Upsettingly good. I used the word immaculate. It was an immaculate recreation of somebody.
Yeah, and we say many times here, you don't know who's real when you're in there.
I turned and there was Betty White, full size, like her size, and then I looked at it
so
and I was
mugged
startled.
her, and all I got was wax.
I kissed her and she didn't kiss back, and I thought, Betty,
baby.
But I turned around and I saw Betty White, and I got startled, and a guy had saw me, got startled. He's like, me too. And we both like grabbed our stomachs in the area where we clenched.
And it turned out you were wax. Well, let's talk about, because there's something we did after the interview that we weren't allowed to take pictures of. She took us into the workshop of where they make and retouch these things.
Insane.
It was, you keep referring to it as being in Ed Gein's house.
Yeah.
I refer to it as wax Ed Gein's house, because all it was just like severed limbs and like decapitated heads and all the...
It was like somebody broke into a Hollywood party and was like, I'm going to be Ed Gein today, and just killed a bunch of actors.
Yeah, because all the hands, it would be just like a wax hand lying there, and it would say like Betty Grable on it. Exactly. It was just all these parts of celebrities lying around.
And we met the girl who was working on the eyebrows.
Oh my God.
And she was holding a decapitated Uma Thurman's head in her lap, and she was talking to us. She's like, she's getting a little bit hot right now.
And she had, like a microscope, and she was putting in new eyebrows on Uma Thurman's severed head. Yeah. And she said, she's going to be there for 8 or 9 hours that day. She's going to get through 1.5 eyebrows.
Insane.
And Uma Thurman has 9 eyebrows. And then a bust of Daniel Craig was just sitting on a table.
Staring at us.
And then like Bruce Willis and Antonio Banderas. They were just like necking almost on it. It was a very weird. And then Toto's head was hanging. It was very weird.
There were just bags that said like actors' names, and you're like, ooh boy. But you had one of the more adorable moments when you were like, is that Antonio Banderas' head going on that Zorro body? And you said it like so excited, like, is that going to be Zorro in an hour?
Because I saw Antonio Banderas with long hair, and then I saw a torso wearing like a serape, and I knew.
The only person who can fight the Headless Horseman is a Headless Zorro.
The Zorro. Fight headlessness with headlessness. In that one room, there's a wax, like a paparazzi guy taking a picture, and you like twice were like waiting for him to finish the picture before you would walk in front of him.
When we went to the opening night, do you want to say what you did downstairs?
Oh, I got a mold of my hand made in wax.
It was so cool.
It was really cool. They took my arm. You could get this done there. They took my arm and alternatively dipped it between ice cold freezing water, and I had to hold it in the pose. Ice cold freezing water and then burning hot wax like over and over again, and it was just hardening on me. And then they had to birth it off of my hand.
It was gross.
It was gross.
It reminded me of two things. One, neither one of the things is good. That's how they tortured people. I think that was Japanese torture, that they used to dip your hands in like different temperatures of water and then just peel the skin off, which is probably where they got the idea. But like maybe the next day, my girlfriend Ada was binging an autopsy show on YouTube, and she was talking about how they would take fingerprints off hands. Sometimes they take the entire skin off the hand. I'm like, oh yeah, I saw that yesterday. Daniel did that.
Daniel got that done at the party.
Daniel got that done at the party.
And Tom Green was bag.
Yeah,
I held his bag of free things that he took.
Well, they took his ID.
It was a fun thing. In the 90s thing, there's a full 90s room. There's Snoop Dogg. There's all sorts of... The whole place is pretty interesting. It's shocking. Again, it's shockingly good how these things look. Before we get into that, if you work at or know someone who works at an interesting or historic place in the city like this, email us, la.meekly@gmail.com, or message us and follow us on Instagram, la_meekly, Twitter at @meekly, Facebook @meekly, Tumblr, lameekly.tumblr.com. We've got the whole archive of episodes there. The YouTube channel, you can watch all this stuff. And subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you get podcasts. Also, while you're there, leave us a review.
We love all of those things.
We love it. And if you really like the show, you can support us on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. We'll send handwritten postcards to you.
I'll write your name with my hands.
My hand. My wax hand.
My wax hand, I'll write your name. It's posed in that pen form. Yeah. The whole pen form.
So I don't have to sully my hands when I write to you.
Enjoy the episode.
Enjoy this interview with Helen Larimore at Madame Tussauds. Bye.
We were wax figures the whole time. Bye.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Now, the first of the hard-hitting questions. Who are you and how long have you lived in LA?
My name is Helen Larimore, and I will be having my 5-year this July.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Where were you before?
Born and raised in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Cold Chicago.
Yeah, I don't miss that. So I miss the city and my friends and family, but I do not miss the weather.
That seems to be the consensus. Everyone's glad to leave Chicago for one reason or
There's
another.
a lot of us here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to a Chicago Blackhawks game at Staples Center,
Oh, yeah.
it's like 80% Chicago
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, we love our hockey. It's like the only sport I really love is hockey.
I went to my first one not too long ago. It was a lot
Yeah,
of,
it's
very
so
exciting.
fun.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah.
He got to see the second worst team in the league playing a game.
Oh, who is that?
Go Kings.
Los Angeles.
Okay.
So where are we right now?
We're at Madame Tussauds Hollywood, right on the Walk of Fame.
And it's a wax museum.
Yes,
Okay.
we call it a wax attraction.
I like that. That's much better, yeah.
That's what I wasn't sure how to. Yeah, it's not really a museum, although I noticed a few historic things downstairs the other night when we were here for the 90s gala. There's some of Madame Tussauds herself stuff, and it said there was a guillotine.
Oh, yeah. So that's how she started her career, was during the French Revolution. She had to do death masks of decapitated heads from guillotines.
That's insane.
Yeah.
How that also sounds disgusting. Like, was it?
Yeah, that sounds
Was it
messy.
clean?
Yeah.
Right?
How did it?
I doubt that was very sanitary.
But is that the actual guillotine down there?
I
or-
think it might be a piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Still pretty
Right?
crazy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Each attraction has like different pieces from different
Okay.
artifacts that she's worked on throughout history. So it's pretty cool.
How many are there because I've been to the one in London.
Yeah, that's the original. That's the one she started over 200 years ago. And
crazy.
now we have 20-something. We keep opening them, but it's like 22, 23. Our last one we opened was in India.
Wow.
Oh, wow, okay.
And we're going to be opening one in Dubai is the next one.
wow,
Great. Get them everywhere.
I know.
Spread the wax.
Spread the wax.
That's the slogan.
Yeah.
So what do you do here?
I'm our marketing manager,
Okay.
so I handle all of our marketing materials, social media, web, any kind of PR activities. I also play a big part in the creative here, which is really fun. A lot of the campaigns we do, I'm part of the creation of them and the ideas, and I even get down and dirty and help build some of the sets.
Really?
When we did the recent 90s room, I was painting those walls.
Yeah. And you were saying that the bedroom was like mostly, it was just your bedroom.
that was all me. Everything was handpicked by me and put together by me, but it basically was my bedroom in the 90s. So
It was fun seeing the wax figures of 90s popular culture people, and I turned and I saw the bed, and I got like a flashback, like it was that scene in Ratatouille when he was taken back to his childhood, and I was like, oh, I've been here. Oh, no.
right?
You're just listening to Smash Mouth in the back.
Full volume all the way up.
Oh yeah, pump up the smash.
And you were saying that the horror section also you had a hand in.
Yeah, I'm a
That
huge
place is really-
horror
yeah.
fanatic, and I started here about a year and a half ago. And they didn't have a horror section, and I was like,
Wacky.
"That's insane,
Yeah.
right?" I mean, Hollywood, like, it's so famous for that. And it's just LA is such a horror driven town.
For many reasons.
And so I somehow convinced them to bring it in, and it was awesome. I got to play a huge part in it, and it's going really well. It's definitely one of the most popular rooms now. I hope we grow from it. I hope we do even more with it.
It's just going to be a horror wax museum.
I want to take over that whole floor.
Every iteration of Dracula.
Right? Totally. I want that like Gary Oldman Dracula. Right?
How did you get into that? Like, what did you do? Like, were you in marketing before this? Or
I started my career in hospitality.
Okay.
I did that for a long time. And then I actually switched to nonprofit. That's why I moved to LA, was for a job in nonprofit. And I did marketing for them for about 3 years, and then was just kind of keeping my eyes out. I really loved working in LA, and I actually worked with a lot of entertainment people when I worked at the nonprofit, and I thought, I'm in this city, I really should be working in the entertainment world. And this came up, which was just like perfect fit. So I'm really lucky. It's really cool. Every day is just wacky and fun and waxy, very waxy.
So what's this place's role in the city?
It is technically a tourist attraction, but we do get a lot of locals too. We try to keep with like another classic Hollywood place, so that a lot of people come to Hollywood and they expect to glitz and glamour, and they don't really get that. They get more kind of icky, whatever. They get crazy Spider-Mans bugging them and all that stuff.
I got
them outside. So we were trying to keep that nostalgia and classiness that they were expecting. So we're a nice little escape when they have 10,000 Spider-Mans tackling them. They can run in here and be like, "Oh, this is the Hollywood experience I was looking for."
Zac Efron will protect me.
Yes, he will. Those abs of steel.
Abs of wax. Keep bringing up wax.
You're not going to stop either.
A lot, most of them, if not all of, like, they're shockingly realistic. Like it was during the event the other night, like I went up to the bathroom and I was in one of the rooms and there was no one else there, but I thought it was filled with people because there were all these like, oh, Selena's here. But there's all they look, it's upsetting at times to just like look into the eyes of Howard Hughes. Because it's disarming.
I kept walking around and I was muttering the word masterpieces. They're all masterpiece. Like as soon as I got close to James Dean's face, I'm like, this is what he really looked like.
It's really impressive when they can do that well with someone who is, deceased, because our newer figures are usually people who are alive and they do their sittings and we take exact measurements. But then when we have to do a figure like Audrey Hepburn or something, that's all by eye. That's all just by photo references and getting like measurements from like different designers that had worked with her, things like that. That's how we get those. So when then like somebody like that actually comes out really good is really impressive.
They didn't just have her decapitated head to make a mold of.
I mean, you never know.
I was looking at the chart that says how long it takes to make the things, and it's what is it, like 800 hours total to make one, and it's just like 30 hours for the teeth. It's crazy.
It's very like meticulous. Like every strand of hair is plucked in and it's real hair, and that's on the head, the eyebrows, if they have a beard. Like,
God, that makes me nervous just thinking about it. Is any of the clothes real, or is it that
a lot of the clothes are donated by the estate or the person.
Really?
Yeah. So like Zoe Saldana has a dress that she wore to the Oscars.
That's cool.
Betty White always donates her clothes.
Really?
Joan Rivers used to always donate her clothes. The dress she has on now is one that she donated.
Really?
Yeah.
Does this one, being the Hollywood one, get preferential treatment compared to like the one in wherever since they're
I don't know if I'd say preferential, but people do often think of us because it's like we do get mistaken a lot. Like people will think they're calling a different location and they end up calling Hollywood because they affiliate the name Hollywood with Madame Tussauds because it's celebrities.
Do you have a rivalry with any of the other places along the street? I've always been curious.
No, I mean, we do get jealous of each other sometimes on figures. We'll be like, oh, I can't believe they got that one. I wanted that one. But we luckily do swaps.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so when like say somebody gets a new figure and I'm like, oh, as soon as like in 3 months, we're totally gonna buy that. Yeah, but we'll do a trade.
Okay, I like that kind of camaraderie.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like we did a pretty funny trade for the 90s. Right before we started to do the 90s, we lent out our Forrest Gump to Berlin. And we were kind of waiting. We were like, well, we don't know what we want back. And then we were looking through different catalogs and we found somewhere in Europe at one of the locations, they had a Jamiroquai. And we were like, oh, that's going to be what our swap is. We're like, we're taking Jamiroquai for the 90s. Yeah.
You're like a general manager on a sports team.
Right?
Trade your Forrest Gump for Jamiroquai and a first-round draft pick next year.
Yeah, that's the kind of days that I have here.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's much interesting than many other jobs.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
What do you think is the most important thing here?
Just keeping the like Hollywood nostalgia, I think, is really important. You know, each location is like catered to their city. So the Hollywood attraction is going to have more Hollywood. The New York attraction is going to be more New York people. So I think it's really important to keep that, to have the classics like Marilyn and Elvis, but then also keep up with like what is relevant in LA today. So I think that's really fun to like kind of go throughout the different eras of Hollywood and Los Angeles.
Because right from the start, it's like Charlie Chaplin and everybody. I can't even. There's Judy Garland. Everyone. Like Moses is in the next room. Yeah. It was more old Hollywood centric than I actually thought it would be at the beginning.
It's almost a surreal experience walking down, the walk of stars, and then you walk past the handprints, and it's like movie stars. Oh, movie stars, and you come in here like, oh, here they are. This is what they look like. Yeah, there they are. Yeah. Similar question. What's your favorite thing here?
Definitely horror.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good room to
That's like my child. Like I go in there to like check on it like every day. I'm like, is everybody?
How's Dracula?
Yeah, I'm like, Bella, are you okay? Need anything? Like,
Did you come up with the garlic wall? Was that you?
I think so. It was me and like 2 other people here. We came up with all the ideas in there. It might have been me, because I remember saying like, well, everybody does a flower wall. Like we should do a garlic wall.
What would LA be like without this place?
It would be a little sad, like I said, you come to Hollywood Boulevard and you think there's going to be a lot to do and there isn't. And I feel like we're more of the essential like thing to do and really a good takeaway. Yeah. So I feel like the Boulevard would be kind of
it's
sad
definitely
without us.
One of the major things I would say on this street.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're just going to walk and see dirty sidewalk. What else are you going to do?
There's not really a lot like things to go into
and do
and experience something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's a couple beautiful theaters here, but stops like this are so essential to just walking around, like tourists walking around and stuff. It's a good spot to
especially just something to do, especially if you're with a big group or a family, and you need something to like get your kids like occupied for a minute while you take a minute to breathe.
Go play with Lucille Ball.
Yeah, exactly. Just throw them in our ball pit.
There's a ball pit. Yeah. Lucille Ball pit. I'm full of them.
So what's the strangest thing that's ever happened here?
Strange things happen on a daily
on Hollywood Boulevard? I don't believe it.
Oh yeah, especially right on the boulevard, all the crazy things that happen. We get a lot of inquiries or like things with like paranormal activity.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what we were going for.
Yeah, I figured. But the staff have like experienced a lot of different things.
Really?
I've seen some things before.
Yeah.
We had Ghost Adventures in here before a few years back, and they claimed there was some spirit named Victor that used to like work around here. I don't know. They came up with the whole story, but I'm convinced it's more of like the old Hollywood, because that's the area where like all of us have like seen things is in that Spirit of Hollywood area. And I think it's because it's like those are people that used to actually be in this area. All of that energy and people thinking about them, I think kind of manifest something in there. I don't
spooky.
know.
All their friends haunt everything around here, so why would they haunt this too? Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, Marilyn Monroe basically lived at the Roosevelt.
And what was it? I always forget that guy's name. I was asking you the other day. The one, he was Montgomery Clift.
Monty
Clift. He's supposed to be haunted over there.
Oh.
But do you ever have to like walk through the place at night alone to like, oh my God, that sounds like a nightmare.
There was a night recently we had an event here and I had to stay really late, and I did like the last walkthrough to make sure there weren't any of the guests left, and it was like 2 a.m. or something, and all the music was off and there's nobody around. And I was walking, and then right when I got into like Western, all the lights went off. And I almost had like a panic attack. Like, I was like, I thought it was a ghost or something.
You drew your gun out.
Yeah, I was like, why did all the lights just go off? I was like screaming. And
the wax figure is such a horror trope.
Yeah.
To work with that exclusively sounds terrifying, because
Yeah.
they really do. Like, you can look in a room, and if someone's just standing still, you can't tell if that's...
Oh yeah, people think I'm a wax figure all the time. If I'm just like in a room, like somebody's talking to me and I'm just still, and then I move a little, then I guess it's like freak out.
That must I imagine that happens like 200 times a day.
Yeah,
Someone
it
freaking
does.
out.
But I get excited because I'm like, ooh, who do you think I am? Do you think I'm a celebrity? Do you think I'm like some movie star? Like, I don't know.
Can we take a picture with you?
Yeah, we get that too, and I'm like, why?
What's this place's best kept secret?
Probably, we actually have a really beautiful rooftop terrace.
Really?
Yeah, that's what we use for a lot of our private events.
Oh, okay.
When we have a bigger launch, which we have a pretty big launch probably this summer, I'll invite you guys to, and
Please
you'll get
do.
to see it. But it's beautiful. It looks over the Boulevard, looks up at the Roosevelt.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. We we do little special events here and there up there, but most people don't know we have it. So
Because even
cool.
where that ball pit was, just looking out through the window, that's already a really nice view. It's always,
Yeah.
I like being above Hollywood Boulevard and looking out on it. It's a nice way
there's
to
one
see it.
above that one too that Lady Gaga is in.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that that's there either, because
Yeah.
you kind of have to go behind a curtain to find it.
Yeah.
And you get out there and you're like, oh my gosh, I have this beautiful view of Hollywood Boulevard with Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Like,
That's all I've ever wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right?
I've made it.
Yeah.
So what's the best time to come here?
Early. Always try to come around open.
Okay.
Because then that's usually when it's not as busy. It gets busier like, noontime and on, and weekdays if you can.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
Skip work.
weekends are always busy. Yeah, if you're playing hooky one day, then come here.
Because the opposite of thinking that someone's just a wax figure, I imagine if it's crowded here, you could easily like walk by wax figures without realizing, because you think it's just someone else
Yeah.
who's there. So
Yeah.
it's best to weed out the humans when you're
Right.
when you're here.
Yeah.
You always say that in every instance. It's best to weed out humans.
Every time I'm behind a microphone, it's best to weed out humans.
Nice.
Where should you park to come here?
We have valet underneath us, but they have a bigger garage at Hollywood and Highland,
Okay.
which is what I always recommend, and it's a
Yeah.
little cheaper. Usually can get that validated at the visitor center at Hollywood and Highland.
Okay.
There's also street parking here, which most people don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Orange right here, there's actually parking there.
Yeah,
and
Orange.
you'd
By
be
Hollywood High, you can
surprised.
park by there,
Yeah,
yeah.
you'd be really surprised. Like a lot of people that work here actually street park.
Really?
If you get here early enough, there's a lot of spots open.
That's
That's the
how-
best kept secret.
I
too.
know.
That's a good secret too.
Maybe we should
Yeah.
cut this out. That area by Hollywood High School is always like whenever I'm
Yes.
here at night. That's always I go immediately there.
Yeah, a lot of people park right by the high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the red line is the least stressful probably of all the
Yeah.
options.
Exactly.
The most important question: what's the best place to eat around here?
I like the classics.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I always recommend Musso and Frank because it's amazing. It is expensive, but like if you're going to come to Hollywood, do it right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Another classic that's not as expensive is like Pig and Whistle. I like that place a lot. We go there for happy hour all the time, and it's really reasonable.
Yeah.
Same thing like the Roosevelt. If you can afford it, like do it right,
Yeah.
But there's also like little cheaper places around here. There's like that burger place in the Roosevelt. That's actually really
Yeah,
good.
I've heard that place is good. We went
Yeah.
to Musso and Frank's for the first time a couple months ago. I got the Musso and Frank Torten dessert. It's like this old cake sort of thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah, I've
really
never
good.
had that, but I've seen photos of it.
Yeah, it's really good. I recommend it.
Get that next
That's
time.
my best kept secret.
Right? It is so good, though.
Yeah,
Like,
and
yeah.
it's also just a fun place to be inside.
Yeah.
It's worth the price of admission.
It
to
is
go to
worth it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you might have like a celebrity sighting there because
Yeah.
a lot of them still go there.
That's all of our. That was it.
Thank you so much,
That
Helen.
was
You're
all of our
welcome.
questions. Now let's go pretend to be wax figures.
Right?
Scare tourists.
Exactly.